Thomas Tuchel's time at Chelsea showcased his tactical brilliance, notably through his preferred 3-4-3 and 3-4-1-2 formations. In just 17 months, he led Chelsea to their second ever Champions League title. Let's take a look at his strategies and recreate them for FC 24. Tuchel was a manager that preferred to capitalize on the strengths of his side. When moving to Chelsea, he implemented a back three system, and this would help with the builder play as well as creating overloads in the wider areas of the field. The concept of wing play best describes Thomas Tuchel's tactics and tactical style at the likes of Chelsea. The wingbacks were very important in the wider areas. The likes of a Reece James and a Ben Chilwell would often push high up the field and look to provide crosses into the box for the forwards. Onto the defense and the defensive style, Thomas Tuchel's defensive approach can be characterized through the press after possession loss, looking to disrupt the opponent's builder play as well as looking to win the ball back high up the field. This high-intensity pressing system forced errors and limited the opponent's time on the ball. Maintaining a defensive width of 45 allowed Chelsea to have a balanced defensive shape, allowing the players to effectively press in the central zones while having adequate cover in the wider areas. With the defensive line set to 65, it highlights the pragmatic approach that Thomas Tuchel used at Chelsea. He adapted the team's defensive line to suit the strengths and the attributes of the players. This reduced the threat of counterattacks against Chelsea's back line. Now onto the offense and the builder play. Tuchel often emphasized the balanced approach, looking to provide Chelsea with multiple options when progressing the ball forward. This could have been patient builder play from the back, or potentially looking to move the ball a lot quicker through the lines and looking to exploit the vulnerabilities of the opposition's backline by going a bit more direct. This versatility allowed Chelsea to adapt their game plan based on the flow of the game. The chance creation is set to possession, and this was a hallmark for Tuchel's tactics. This patient build-up and emphasis on ball retention often allowed Chelsea to capitalize on the teams that would sit further back in a low block and allow for Chelsea to create goal-scoring opportunities. A widespread offensive width set to 90 would often stretch the opposition's back line. This would allow for the Chelsea attackers to have a bit more space centrally. Tuchel's side frequently used side overloads to overwhelm the opposition, with the wide centre-backs, wing-backs as well as the wingers looking to combine effectively in the wider channels. Chelsea would maintain a potent attacking presence with players in the box being set to 5. This strategy meant that Chelsea would be able to sustain pressure on the opposition as well as create goal-scoring opportunities inside the attacking area. And then as for the corners and the free kicks, as per always, it is set to 4. Tuchel's instructions for the goalkeeper prioritized balance, allowing for the goalkeeper to be able to adequately deal with the crosses when they were fired into the box, and at the same time, the likes of Eduardo Mendy was not really seen as a sweeper keeper, as it was not a requirement, so therefore you can also leave the goalkeeping position on balance for saving outside of the box. The 3 central defenders are set to the balanced approach, and I will say this, the likes of an Antonio Rudiger as well as an Azpilicueta were able and allowed to, when in possession of the ball, drive further up the field and again create those side overloads to overwhelm the opposition, as well as just trying to create overloads more centrally at times with their ability to drive with the ball forward. Both the likes of Reece James and Ben Chilwell are set to the same set of instructions, and that is join the attack, overlap, as well as step up. You want them being the outlet ball in those wider regions as much as possible, looking to supply crosses and cutbacks into the box for the attackers at all times. The roles of the 2 central midfielders varied at times depending on the personnel in the side as well as their natural positioning tendencies. The role for Jorginho was seen as the metronome, which we have used Enzo Fernandez in. He would look to try and dictate the pace of play and look to rotate possession as much as possible in those central zones. For his instructions going forward, he'll be set to cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking, normal interceptions, deep line playmaker, as well as cover the center. For the other midfielder, which was Mateo Kovacic at the time, he would often look to try and take on the opposition, looking to try and get higher up the field as well. When on the ball, he would often look to try and drive at the opposition, bypassing them with dribbles or interchanging play with the various players in and around him. As for his instructions, he'd be set to cut passing lanes for the defensive behavior, a balanced approach for the attacking support, as well as aggressive interceptions, looking to try and press higher up the field and look to try and add to that, counter-pressing system. The positioning freedom is set to stick to position, paired up with the fact that he will be told to cover the center. Both wingers played integral roles in Tuchel's system, with slight variations to their instructions to suit their individual attributes. Starting off with the left wing, he would be set to a basic defensive support, allowing him to sometimes stay further up the field and be a very good counter-attacking option. Of course, at the time, Timo Werner was quite often deployed in this wide left channel. The transgression is set to a balanced width, allowing him to drift in and out of those central zones, looking to often pull the opposition players into those wider areas. The support runs more naturally. Timo Werner is a very pacey winger slash, center forward, so he will often look to try and break in behind and use his pace to the likes of his team's advantage. The interceptions will be set to aggressive, paired up with a balanced crossing run, allowing him to sometimes be able to break into the box, other times stay on the edge of the area and look to try and facilitate the pace of play on the edge of the attacking zone. Onto the right-hand side, the likes of Mason Mount or even a Kai Havertz at times, they would often be instructed to drop a bit deeper and look to try and support the midfield with their defensive protection. The transgression is set to a balanced width, also looking to try and drift in and out of those central zones, as well as the support runs will also be set to balance, allowing them to sometimes break in behind, other times look to come a bit shorter and combine quite well with the other midfielders. The interceptions will also be set to aggressive, as well as the support on crosses being set to balanced. Tuchel's instructions for the striker were very mixed, whether it was a Kai Havertz up front, a Tammy Abraham, or even a Romelu Lukaku. He emphasized a very good balanced width for the striker, allowing them to maintain a very solid approach where they could choose to drift along the opposition's backline. For the attacking runs, however, this would often be used as a mixed approach, or if the likes of a Lukaku or a Tammy Abraham were playing up front, they would be used as a more of a target man approach, looking to use their physicality and combine with the players in and around them. At the same time, the striker would often be told to initiate the first line of press, looking to engage with the opposition, looking to try and close down the spaces and the gaps for the opposition to try and pass into and pass through, and often looking to win the ball back higher up the field. The defensive support is also set to stay forward, looking for them to combine higher up the field for those counter-attacking opportunities. This formation offered Tuchel tactical flexibility, providing a great link between the defense and the attack. The addition of the number 10 allowed Chelsea to try and dominate the midfield play. The tactical instructions remained consistent with the 3-4-3 system, so there are no major changes to them. Majority of the roles did seem to stay the same, apart from a few. The likes of Azpilicueta was allowed to drift more centrally at times and get nice and high up the field, providing an extra outlet for crosses into the box. So for his instructions, you would want him to be set to join the attack. Of course, with the addition of the number 10, his role did change from that right-hand side. The likes of a Mason Mount or even a Kai Havertz, mainly the likes of Mason Mount was played in this role. He would be told to come back on defense, often dropping a bit deeper, slotting into that midfield, providing a good defensive blanket for the back line, as well as having him stay on the edge of the box, looking to facilitate and create a lot of the attacking movements from just outside the attacking area. The positioning freedom is set to stick to position, more so making sure that he is in his central zones in that key zone 14 role, looking to try and again facilitate and create for the attackers further forward. The interceptions will also still be set to aggressive, looking to still implement that aggressive secondary pressing line. And then the other change that we do see is the likes of Timo Werner, who is deployed as a left wing in the 3-4-3 system. He is deployed up front now, and his instructions also do change. He would be set to drift wide, get behind, have aggressive interceptions, as well as come back on defense, looking to also drop into that midfield area at times and look to try and shield them and link up play from a slightly deeper rate. Tuchel opted for a compact defensive shape and structure, looking to try and nullify the attacking outlets of the opposition. Now, taking a look at the tactics and the tactical vision, it will still be set to wing play, but for the defense and the defensive style, we do see a change, and now it is set to pressure on heavy touch. Chelsea would prioritize trying to disrupt the natural rhythm and flow of the game for the opposition, looking to try and capitalize on the mistakes that they would make, while still maintaining a compact defensive shape, making it very hard for the opposition to try and break down that 5-4-1 system. For the system going forward, the team's defensive width is now set to 30, prioritizing a compactness in those central zones, making it very hard for the opposition to play out centrally and looking to try and flood them into those wider channels. This would often mean that a lot of crosses would be fired into the box, but you would have at least 3 to 4 defenders in and around your defensive half, allowing them to try and deal with those aerial threats. With a low mid block set to 30, Chelsea would prioritize again a nice compactness and allowing them to try and minimize the space and the threat in behind by them having a natural line closer to their own goal. Now onto the offense and the ball play going forward. It was set to long ball, of course, naturally inviting the pressure from the opposition, looking to try and soak up as much pressure as possible, also allowing them to capitalize on any space that the opposition would then leave in behind, and that would be capitalized on with a long ball over the top into the forward line. And with the addition of the long ball approach, the chance creation should be set to direct passing, encouraging your forwards to try and get in behind and exploit the opposition's backline. In this system, Chelsea still maintained a moderately offensive, aggressive width to the side set to 65. This would still show that Chelsea would try and utilize the wider zones as much as possible. With the players in the box being set to 3, this highlighted the fact that Chelsea would emphasize the defensive stability side of things when reverting into this 5-4-1 system, and therefore they would not look to try and commit too many players further forward. As for the corners and the free kicks, as always, it will still be set to 4. Now, the key elements to the player instructions for this 5-4-1 system was defensive stability and discipline, making sure that every player was disciplined when in and out of possession of the ball, as well as when in and out of their natural shape. For the goalkeeper, he would still have the same role and instructions going forward, as well as the 3 centre-backs would also still be set to the balanced approach. Now, we have a look at the wing-backs, who have a slight tweak in variation to their attacking outlet, looking to have a bit more of a balanced attack. If the opportunity is there, if the moment is there, they can look to attack down the flank, but other times looking to stay back and hold down that defensive area. As for the run type, it will be set to overlap, as well as they will still be set to step up. The only change that we do see in the midfield is the fact that the left-sided DM will be set to stay back while attacking and not have as much attacking free roam ability as he did before, more so looking to try and blanket and shield that backline area. Now, as for your 2 wingers, they will both be set to the same set of instructions. At this time in this formation, they would often look to drop a bit deeper and look to try and invert into the midfield as much as possible, looking to also add a defensive shield element to that midfield area. So for their roles going forward, it would be set to come back on defense, having a balance with, as well as having the ability to consistently make those runs in behind, looking to exploit the opposition's backline with the amount of pressure that the opposition would be looking to try and pile on to your side. The interceptions will be set to aggressive, as well as the support on crosses will also still be set to balanced. And then finally, we've got our striker up front. He will also still have and maintain a balanced width. But the change that we do see here is the fact that he will be told to get in behind, also looking to try and penetrate that opposition's backline area. The other change that we also see for the striker going forward is the ability for him to drop a bit deeper and try and also tuck into the midfield and look to try and add another, defensive elements to the side. And there you go, guys. That is how I would implement Thomas Tuchel's tactics into FC24 for that particular Chelsea side that went on to win the Champions League as well as a Club World Cup and got to various other, domestic finals. Out of 10, I would give the system a solid 8. I think it's great tactically. The adaptability of the side going forward, going backwards, the solidity in the defensive areas is amazing. And I think for a career mode or even an ultimate team, it could be a great set of tactics to go ahead and use. Now, let's hop on straight into the gameplay. Okay, guys, so for the gameplay part, I will be looking to inform you about how you should look to try and set out the various different game plans for this side going forward. Of course, we are starting off with the 3-4-3 system, looking to have that front 3 units working against Arsenal's backline. And then in the second half, we will convert the side into that 3-4-1-2 shape that we have seen in the past. Now, I will say this, a little disclaimer. I do believe that Thomas Tuchel against this particular Arsenal side who looks to try and, dominate the midfield and central zones, he would more or less look to try and set out from the get-go with a 10 in possession, looking to try and add an extra body into that midfield area. So I do think that will more or less maybe work better against Arsenal. And also they would frequently and fluidly shift into that 5-4-1 shape as well. Like I say, against the pressing sides, this Chelsea side would be very adaptable to them. So we are going to try and show the most adaptable style of play for the gameplay. Anyway, out wide now into Reece James. Consistently will be in those wider zones as much as possible. Into the metronome, looking for that ball over the top. Of course, Jorginho would often play in that role. And now we've got a chance to whip the ball into the box, looking to supply to the back post area. And there we go, Timo Werner / Nkunku in this role. Not a bad first effort there. Great ball out wide. Great interchangeability between the two. And yeah, doing a very good job. Mason Mount / Paul Palmer looking to combine with the wingback, who whips in a... Oh my goodness me! That delivery was sensational. Now, if you haven't seen how to do stuff like that, go check out the YouTube short where I explain how you can deliver the perfect driven cross into the box. lots of power, lots of pace at the back post, and quite often the likes of a Timo Werner or even a Ben Chilwell would make those runs to that back post area, looking to try and capitalize on any overhits or too much power added onto the crosses, and they would look to try and get those back post tap-ins. And effectively, we've replicated that right here, right now. A great goal, great start to the game. We need a bit more ball dominance, I would say, but again, against the more aggressive ball-playing sides, Tuchel would often look to not really focus on the ball retention part. Of course, it's what he would like, but it was more about the defensive structure and compactness, making it very hard for the opposition to find those passes into those central zones. Reece James engaging very well with the opposition there, and looking just to circulate it around the back here. Now, often the likes of an Antonio Rudiger would drive up the field, looking to engage with the opposition, engage that press, invite overloads, and then or invite the press to create overloads in other various areas of the field, and therefore being able to essentially pass around that area of the pitch and almost bypass the midfield, you could say. Again, that nice wide overload. Reece James, ball to the back post area yet again, just beating the striker. I was actually looking to try and hit Nicholas Jackson in possession there. It's a foul. We've gone out wide here into the likes of Ben Chilwell, who will be looking to provide a cutback opportunity, but it's really well defended there from Bukayo Saka. Very solid left back, you could say. But here we go. Ben Chilwell looking to regain natural positioning. Look at that solid defensive line. That's exactly what you're looking to try and create and facilitate. And I will also say this, guys, although I haven't really done it there, but when tracking back with various Chelsea, team members, look to try and take up one of your double pivots players, opposed to controlling your backline area. I just think that you want to try and maintain that shape and structure and not overly engage with the opposition's forwards, essentially pulling players out of their positions and breaking the defensive structure. So more or less in this situation and in this team, use the double pivots to try and track the opposition players back. That's my best piece of advice I think I could give for you guys today. But again, look at this. Reece James in that wide area looking for that back post attack. Oh my goodness me. Supplied into the box perfectly. It's 2-0 just before the break. And Nkunku with both goals / Timo Werner consistently looking to make those runs in behind, exploiting the opposition's back line and essentially making sure that he can creep in at that back post area. Did so very effectively. William Saliba falls asleep and Nkunku's just there to creep in just in behind him and put the ball in the back of the net. Great stuff, honestly. Reece James, fantastic player. We have missed him so far this season in the Premier League. I say that as a rival fan, but yeah, he has been missed. I think even last season as well, he was largely injured for majority of it. But again, look at this. You're taking up one of your double pivot players, looking to win the ball back, and I've made a horrid mistake there, and it's a great recovery defensive duty from Thiago Silva. We can also look to then break forward, but the ref blows the whistle for halftime, and we will have a look at the halftime stats. I'm very impressed with that first half. I hope you guys are too. And just remember, in the second half, we will be looking to implement the 3-4-1-2 system. Okay, so taking a look at the possession stats and just the stats in general, we have maintained 60% possession, looking to rotate the pace of play, retain possession. But I will say this, against a team like Arsenal, more naturally, Tuchel wouldn't really look to focus too much on the possession or retention of the ball. It would be more about the defensive shape and structure. But the fact that we have maintained a lot of the ball in the first half is just an added bonus. The shots we've had have been 3 to their 1, higher expected goals in them, as well as more passes. I think, yeah, double the passes, which is fantastic. The tackles have also been very good, with the tackles won also being in the higher percentages. The dribble success rates, as well as the shot accuracy and pass accuracy, are all higher than what Arsenal have been able to produce, which is fantastic. Now let's have a look at the possession. As you will see right here, we've had a lot more attacking outlets down the right-hand channel, which you could say for Thomas Tuchel was a very good outlet. The likes of Reece James under Tuchel was sensational. That is more or less around the time where a lot of the players, as well as fans, started saying Reece James is a world-class right back, which I would still like to agree with, although recency bias would probably dictate that he's not. But I would say that he is. But a lot of the attack down that right-hand flank, and we have had a lot of success down the right-hand channel with Reece James supplying balls into the box. So yeah, it is something to consider for the second half, looking to try and supply Ben Chilwell with adequate opportunities to supply for the strikers, but otherwise it's been very, very solid. A lot of those central zones as well, slightly half the field also being occupied, but more so down that right-hand side. So as you'll see here, because we have largely gone down the right-hand channel, the role of Reece James into Mason Mount or Cole Palmer in this situation, the interchangeability between passes and just natural positions is there. You'll also see Jorginho, the number 8, in this case it's Enzo Fernandez, also having a lot of the passes out to that wide right channel. We do need to get him on the ball a bit more, supplying more passes to the various players in and around him. But as you'll see there, a lot of passes being interchanged between the backline and the midfield areas. Okay, second half is about to kick off. We are going to revert it to the 3-4-1-2 system, and that shape will naturally take place over the next, few moments. Get that out of here, man. Get that out of here. Okay. And also, a lot of the natural positions and instructions don't really change, because quite often Chelsea would, very fluidly look to try and adapt in games, like I also mentioned during the instructions of how you create the team. But they would look to naturally look at very much adapting to the systems, the various different systems that they would go up against. Or if they were being overrun in the midfield, the likes of a Mason Mount would naturally look to try and drop a bit more. So you want that still. Now, I haven't really gotten a hold of one of my midfielders, so I need to engage with one of my defenders. But as you'll see there, that's exactly what I'm saying. The holes that you do tend to create when you engage with one of your centre-backs, they are created. So you need to be very wary of that situation. And Havertz is coming off for the likes of Jesus, which I think this Chelsea backline would easily deal with if it was a Thomas Tuchel system. Good ball there into the metronome. Just out wide into the likes of Chalobah, who often did play under Tommy Tuchel, It was a very solid role for him. As you can see there, the number 10 dropping into the pocket of space. The striker, ball into the box for Reece James. Supplies it to the back post area for the number 10, who does break into the box every now and then. And he gets on the score sheet. Fantastic scenes as Cole Palmer makes it 3-0 in the second half in the newer system, you could say. A great little pass, a little acute angle, saw the runner, bang, 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 back post things, and Raya and Arsenal are beaten yet again. You do like to see it. I will say that. You do like to see it. Here we go, yet again. Down the right-hand channel, honestly, Reece James as a wing-back is him. The ability just to get on the ball, cut it back, and you will have a lot of opportunities, both down the right and the left-hand side, although at this moment in time, Reece James is just flying down the right channel. I don't know if he's being terribly marked. I don't know if it's Zinchenko on the Arsenal backline, but Reece James has got a lot of space to try and exploit. I think it's Kivior, actually. But yeah, just so much space, so much time, so much, players in the box ready for and waiting for the opportunity. Nkunku's there, latches onto it perfectly. And he's got a hat-trick in this game, which is great. Ball over the top from Fernandez into Reece James. He's looking to supply a great ball into the box. It's attacked. Yeah, that's a foul. I literally did foul Saliba there. But yeah, these crosses into the box are absolutely torching Arsenal and everything that they stand for. Oh my goodness me. Okay, well, I was expecting Thiago Silva to deal with that. I don't know why he didn't. But more naturally, under those situations, or in those situations, your backline should be able to deal with crosses into the box at all times. I don't know if it was just a bit of a delay. I was mashing X to try and, clear it. But it is a well-taken strike. A great goal. Petrovic is beaten. I think if it was the likes of an Eduardo Mendy, at that time, he was quite good. I think his long, lanky arms would have gotten there, and he would have saved the possible, strike on goal. But more so, I would expect Thiago Silva to just deal with the situation at hand, but he didn't, so it's fine. We are now still up in this game, 4-1, absolutely battering Arsenal. Double the passes, literally. A better pass accuracy as well. But we also want to try and work a bit more into this, wide left space. And I don't know if you guys may have seen that, but the movement of Nkunku into that wider channel, he will naturally look to try and drift, combining with those wider spaced players. And that's more or less what you're looking for. Great ball. Great ball. Great ball. Look at this. Now looks trying to tack down the left space. Ben White, though, up against Ben Chilwell. Ben Chilwell does very well there to come away with the ball, but Saliba is there with the recovery pace to implement a fantastic tackle. And Raya loses composure and boots it long. And that is just because of the implementation of the aggressive counter press that we have looked to try and, implement throughout the course of this game. And Zinchenko is coming on for Ben White. So you know that we are going to be channeling a lot of our attacks down this left-hand channel. Look at that. Bang, immediately. Zinchenko's poor positioning. Immediately just exploiting Zinchenko and everything that he's just really bad at. Cole Palmer sets to whip this one into the box. Does a great job with it. Almost. There we go. There. Oh, I was trying to be too cute with that. I should have just taken the shot on myself. But it's all about rotating play, retaining possession, and looking for the opportunities to just naturally occur. I mean, in that situation, Chalobah is basically on. Oh my God! Yet again, Thiago. Oh my God! They should be able to deal with this. I don't know why that in this particular game they are not dealing with it. But Jesus has done very well for both goals. It's just a bit annoying because naturally my player is in position there, and I'm mashing X, and it's still not goddamn clearing. It's a great cross though. You can't stop that at times. It is a really good cross. Maybe the goalkeeper could do better. Maybe Colwell could do a bit better. Yeah, but I am mashing X in that situation, and they have positioned themselves quite well. But sometimes with the coding of this game, if it's a perfect ball, the game's going to naturally allow it to go into the back of the net. But yeah, second half, it's a 2-2 game. It's a bit annoying because this defensive structure is really good. There's got to be a perfect cross, Oh, okay, well. Ref, you want to blow the whistle maybe? There we go. And yeah, there you have it, guys. That is the gameplay going forward. Of course, we discussed the 3-4-3 as well as the 3-4-1-2 system. They both work very, very well. Nkunku got a hat-trick because of his natural great positioning. But yes, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And if you have really liked it, smash that like button down below. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. That would be fan-damn-tastic. Hit the bell notifications and all that good stuff. But until the next time, until the next one, I hope you have a goddamn great day. And I'm out of here.